Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I just want to welcome you tonight. So I'm really excited about our sizzle tonight. It happens to be my sister, and all of you know how I feel about doing business with people that you love. And so doing business with the people that I love is an extra blessing, and getting to love everybody that comes onto the team is icing on the cake. So Karina has been with me pretty much from the beginning in different aspects of it, and I'm not sure if she'll share her story at all, but she was kind of skeptical when it came to using the oils, but I believed wholeheartedly that the oils would be of benefit to her. So in one way or the other, I really encouraged her to come on board and join me in this. And so lately, what I've been noticing is people talking about how to do business on Facebook using groups. And so it just so happens that Karina started doing some extra things in groups as far as supporting her team and different avenues like that using Facebook groups. So it really comes, this is a really good time to have Karina share what she's doing. And I have watched her group. I've watched it all along. I'm in a lot of groups, and so I'm just kind of a voyeur in a lot of groups just to kind of be able to see where I can support and just kind of be there. But I've really watched the engagement in her group and the difference from before she started doing what she's doing now and what she's doing right now. So she's going to share pretty much what she's been doing, and it's been fantastic. The interaction and all of that has been amazing, and Karina is an amazing sister and an awesome leader. So you guys are really blessed to be able to hear from her tonight. So there you go, Karina.
Thanks. That's as most of you know, Romy is an incredible leader. So being there's been times during there that she has definitely had to just stand beside me and watch me as I worked out my own path. And so we traveled quite a bit, and we moved to Maui last year and changed some things in our lives and did some service work. So I had to figure out how to actually get more engagement with my team, I have a team in all but 4 states, and there are 7 countries presented. So it's a little bit more interesting to do that when we were in Maui, so farthest distance from anywhere, and there wasn't a whole lot of travel going on at that point. So I was trying to figure out different things, and in January, I decided to do a challenge every day with a group, and I would do education every day. So it's based pretty much on what I'm gonna do a screen share, and I'll walk through what and why I did what I did. So hopefully I will be able to get this to where it's gonna go. Okay, so can you see that? Can you see the education one morsel at a time? All right, yay, one step. So the education one morsel at a time, I focused on doing education, just a clip about a specific thing. So let's define what a morsel is. It's a small quantity, it's a tasty dish, and it's something delectable and pleasing. So how does that relate to essential oils and sharing with anybody? So if you give them a small bite of information that they can readily chew up, process, and absorb, they're going to get a lot more, they'll have a lot more information on how best to use that particular oil. And so that has been very beneficial in what I've been doing. So a lot of times we have this, and we don't want this. When you get a nice tasty morsel of a good, you can bite into it and get the flavor, all of it. But when you're trying to bite into the big sandwich or the big amount of information, my son's deciding to cook right now. It's hard to get all of that. And so we go into this mode of too much information, and it's just flowing at us, and we're like, no, thank you, no, no, no. And right here, do you still don't believe in information overload? And this is too much. So I've seen the glazed look.
Hey, Karina.
Yeah?
Hey, your PowerPoint's not in full screen mode. Do you want it to be?
Should I?
Yeah, if you hit slideshow.
Yeah, I can. Okay. So.
And then from current slide.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do it that way. I just didn't want to get on. Okay, is that better? You can see it better?
Yeah,
sorry. You want to see the others? Okay. So too much information. We have a ton of information and a ton of resources available to us as wellness advocates, and amazing ways that we can change other people's lives or introduce them to a new way of life with all of the information. But when there's too much overload, there's too much overload. So let's go over class, your in-person classes versus your online learning. So classes present the great overall information. You get a general understanding, but they're pretty sure by the end of the class that they're never going to remember everything. And some of them are overwhelmed, and they just walk away from it because they're too scared to not know enough. And so the online learning can be a further education venue where you can invite them to that online class where it's just a snippet of information every day at their leisure, and the interaction happens. So it's great for new enrollments to learn from others because there's a really good community on there. New enrollments that want to build but really don't have all of the information for the oils, it's a great place that they can invite their friends and plug them in and say, this is a great place that you can go in, you can ask questions. So that's been a really good benefit. And then people learn outside of the what's in the book, because we have books that we can look at, we have online resources, but when you're learning from each other, it's really helpful. And it's a really great team support network. So the event-based page basics. So you're going to want a daily education clip, and that's what what I focused on starting in January, is that I posted a daily information, and then the question was turned so it was personal. And being personal is really important. How do you use the oil? What have been your benefits from them? Because you're going to have people in there that have used particular oils that you're going over. And other people can go, well, I never even thought about using it that way. And if you've got that personal story in there, it gives them more confidence to use what they're using. So make it personal. How did you use it? And it's true. How often do you see this happen? You should have seen, somebody gave me a sample of this and let me tell you about it. It just works that way if you make it personal. You want to get in there, and even though you're not face-to-face with that person, you still want to have it feel personal because it is about them and it is how best it's going to help them. And making it that way on a page can sometimes be interesting, but if you're focusing on doing that, it's really nice. Let me see. Next. So you have people sharing, and it equals expanded knowledge. So you see where the circles are crossing over. So the person on the left has this set of knowledge about a particular oil or a supplement. And the person on the right has this particular information. And when you cross them up, there's a whole lot more that they both now know because they've shared that information. So when you ask the question, how has LLV benefited you? And one person says, well, I used it to support my body in this instance. And the other person is, well, I used it this way. And so now they have different ways that they can use it. And it also expands your circles. How many people do you know now that you didn't know before you started doTERRA? I had fun with the graphics, sorry. So this is so true, and it's not just about knowing more people, it's about having that true connection, and you can keep it personal and really a personal touch even on a Facebook page. So when I started it, it was January, and January was something I was like, we are going to do this. So I did daily education challenge, and I put that information out there, and sometimes it was go through the lifelong or the Living magazine, because the Living magazine is actually a digital file, and you put that digital link in there and say, what was your favorite article in this magazine? And invariably, with 20, 30 comments, the whole magazine is covered, and people are commenting back and forth on, oh, I didn't see that one, or that's a really good point. And it brings people into that sharing information. And I offered a prize each and every day for the month of January and February. And it was a different prize every day. And it's amazing, even if it's just the opportunity to win something, it sparks people's interest. And they were determined that they would comment somehow on that, but in the process, it was fun to watch everybody learn. So that was a benefit to that. When we started the new page in July, it was because the Christmas spoils in July was something that a lot of people did throughout doTERRA, and we focused on spoiling 5 people, and we sent out those samples, and then we had that page that they all came back to get educated about the samples that were sent out. So that was really good, but they also got an opportunity to win a prize or a free sample of something, which was really good. And it all depends on where you're at in the business as to what those prizes are going to be. Sometimes it's business prizes, sometimes it's oil. For me, and I partnered with one of my leaders, and it's been a lot of fun. Since in July we partnered together for a big page, and it's all of my crossline, and it was so much fun to bring in another leader to shoot ideas back and forth and to support each other through that, because it was just a lot of fun. And we were able to cover a lot of information and help people that were doing the Natalie and Bert's challenge as far as enrollment, the 100 enrollment challenge, because they had a place to bring people to learn, and it furthered that education. So the samples were one thing that went out in July, and then we offered an enrollment bonus at the end of July to further that for the education. But it's been really good to be able to have all of those people in there communicating with each other and furthering that education. And most of all, just be you, amazing, because each one of you are amazing. And a lot of times when we get started doing something, we forget that we are good and we're perfect the way that we are. We're always learning and always expanding, and when we step into that, we do amazing things. So I can take questions, more specific questions if you guys want, and that's really super short because it's small bits of information, and I think that that's key. If you keep it so they're not overloaded, and you make it so that it's personalized to them and they can understand how they can use it themselves, it makes a big difference.
So what I love about this and what Karina is talking about, and I love that you kept it short and simple, and because that is what that really is, you know, that's one of the things that I've been focusing on more and more, is really basic, simple things, because with that information overload, sometimes we really overcomplicate things. And so doing the business and sharing and serving people is really, really simple. And in the group like this, it building that community is something that's going to be very, very powerful for your business. And one of the reasons why I wanted Karina to talk about this is because we have talked about this over the last couple of weeks. Is one of the best business decisions that I made is when I created the Oilers Cafe. So most of you probably don't even know what about the original Oilers Cafe, and but it was really fun. It was a great community. It was a great place to share information, like Karina's talking about, and really get to know people. And so it ended up to be very powerful. And that is what Karina is building. We are not saying that everyone should do this. We're just throwing out a tool or an idea if, you know, if this is something that it looks like it might click for you. But you can never have too many relationships, and you can never have too much community. And so however that works for you to build your community, I think it's good. So, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so I'm going to put Karina on the spot for a minute. I would like for you to share your story. Just, it can be brief, but I mean, I'll share it for you, but it's not going to be my story. It's going to be from my perspective.
Okay, so where do you want where do you want me to start?
Okay, well, this is what my thought was. So a lot of us have people in our lives that we love, that we really want to come on board with us, whether it's a friend, whatever. And it just takes, for whatever reason, and it just so happened that Karina's reason for not, you know, as far as engaging in the business right away was health. And so my idea in this is just to encourage to never give up. If you have someone in your life that, one, you think that this product will help them, for God's sake, don't give up. Keep sharing in whatever way. You don't have to shove it down their throat, but keep sharing. I had a situation with a friend that had cancer, and I was scared, and he died. He didn't die because I didn't share, but oh my gosh, it would have been nice for me to not have that wonder and that doubt. So keep sharing in that regard. And then just in life in general, this is a great way to bless people's lives. So never give up. If your gut is saying this person is going to be awesome, never give up. Pray for them. Do whatever, but hang on, because you never know. So.
Okay, so when my sister introduced me to oils in May, well, actually it was a little bit before May, probably April of 2011, I was having some severe issues with my second pancreas transplant. And I was really sick, and I was spending a lot of time in and out of the doctor's office and in and out of the hospital. And
okay, Hold on just a minute. Kenzie, will you stop the recording? I don't want her to have to worry about compliance stuff.